Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Legend Commentaries here, and I'm bringing you today a commentary with Ezreal in a 5v5 on Summoner's Rift. His passive, Rising Spell Force, increases his attack speed by 10% for every spell that hits a target. That can stack up to 5 times. The first of these spells you can use to stack it with is Mystic Shot. I level this second, and it is a physical damage spell, which is a skill shot, and you launch it out, and it deals damage. Very simple and straightforward. Then you have Essence Flux, a bit more complex. It deals magic damage, and if you cast it on an enemy, it'll reduce their attack speed. If you cast it on an ally, it will increase theirs. Either way, it gives you a stack on your passive. Then you got another magic damage spell, Arcane Shift, where you flash to a location and then release a homing missile. So that can be used pretty much for the escape mechanic. I level that third and last among my main abilities. And then, of course, you have your ultimate. True Shot Barrage, a skill shot of skill shots. It is a really fun ultimate to use. It's similar to Ash's Arrow in the respect that it goes across the entire map, and it's unique to Ezreal because it deals a lot of damage, and it can be used to either clear lanes, get killing blows, initiate fights, anything like that. Every target it goes through reduces the damage that it does by 8% for each unit. So, if you pass it through several people, the damage is a bit less on the last person than it was on the first person. For my runes, I go for the standard AD runes, going for attack damage reds and quints, armor yellows, and magic resist per level blues. For my masteries, I go 21 in offense and 9 in defense. So off we go on a magical ride with Ezreal. I play him AD bot, of course, because people who play him mid have something wrong with them. I'm just kidding. It works in some compositions if you want to go that route. But AD mid, just not really the generally accepted position, so I'm bot with a Taric, and or Taric, however you want to pronounce it. And basically, Taric Ez, I think, has the highest win percent, according to lolking.net. I believe they have the highest win percentage together. Taric, just a great support in general, getting that dazzle off, allowing you to secure kills, and they're just showing that the ultimate, able to pick up quite a few kills at the early level if you're able to aim it correctly, and especially if people position stupidly. Now that's the main thing that you want to be watching for, is people who position themselves against walls or in narrow alleyway kind of areas, because you can really hit a lot of people with your ultimate. And here, just showing the strength of the initiation behind a Taric stun, and the strength of Ez mid-game. When you get to that midway point, level 8 to probably, I'd say, 14 or 15, you really start getting strong. And you can see my items there, running a BF Sword, 2 Doran's Blades, boots, and some health potions. My Vayne opponent has the exact same items. However, I've got quite a bit more in the bank than her right now. I have 120 farm to her 81. You want to, as an AD carry, always be focusing primarily on farm. That's kind of what wins games. Now, of course, if you're doing something at high ELOs like a lane swap, that's not necessarily the thing that you're going to want to go for as often as pushing a tower or getting kills, because that's not really what it's designed for. But you are definitely going to be able to get that farm in bot lane, and if you can outfarm your opponent, you're just going to overall succeed more in-game. Now, of course, if you're feeding and stuff, that's going to kind of change the dynamic of everything else, but here, using the ultimate to try and steal Dragon, didn't quite get it off. I was a little bit late, but here I'm going to come in and just pretty much try and clean up. Ezreal, you want to be on the edge of the battle. You want to stay kind of out of the way until you need to go in. And there at the last minute, when only that Cassiopeia was alive, I come into the fight, get right in their face so that I have a bit of a smaller range to miss my skill shots, and decide not to engage on that Sona, because if you have a blue buff or a red buff on Ez, those things are so powerful that you never ever want a chance giving them up. Blue buff allows you to spam your abilities incredibly often. His cooldowns are already short, and one of the main things in lane that you have a problem with is spamming your Essence Flux. And I actually level that up first, and primarily because it does do a lot of damage, and it's great harass for champions. However, it costs a lot of mana, and one of the reasons for leaving Mystic Shot is it does a lot of damage whether or not you level it up. And it has a lower mana cost at lower ranks, so you can really use that to your advantage and spam it a lot to get last hits, to get hits in on champions, and they're picking up a kill on Sona. Now I'm going to completely use my my Arcane Shift to get out of that exhaust range so that Mundo can't continually harass me, and just kind of sit back and blow up their AD Gragas. I'm not really sure what they were doing with the AD Gragas, but, crazy things happen in solo queue. This is a ranked game, by the way. None of these are normals. I'm going to actually show a few bonus clips after this game from another ranked game, but I'm going to try and do only ranked games from now on because it is a bit higher skill cap than the normal blind pick games. But anyhow, as far as my build goes, you can go a lot of different things on Ezreal, and there's actually a lot of variety in the way people build him. The way that I see it is the same way that I've heard Afromu put it, and that's kind of where I picked up the idea from. If you are ahead or equal in lane, you get your Bloodthirster, because that is going to allow you to get your sustain up, and you're going to use your farm to get more lifesteal, get more damage. It all compounds and makes you a very, very strong force in team fights. It gives you that sustain to stay in and actually fight in team fights. Now, if you're behind, you go for your IE first. Okay, so in this game, I wasn't necessarily behind, but I just wanted to rush it because I had enough gold to, and because I was going to go for a very damage-heavy build. Now, if you're going for that kind of Bloodthirster into a Phantom Dancer into a Last Whisper build, you're going for more sustained damage. Here, I'm going for very bursty damage because, I mean, let's face it, we're kind of rickrolling them at this point. It's 7 to 22 kills, and I'm 7-0 and 6. So if you have a Ez that's 7-0 and 6, 40 farm ahead of their AD carry, you're pretty much going to win the game. It's going to be very hard to throw at that point. So I just went for all-out damage. You can see there I got my Infinity Edge, went for a Phantom Dancer, and now I'm going straight into a Last Whisper, skipping the Bloodthirster altogether. Now, another build that you can go is a Triforce Ez, which is equally strong, but I don't like it as much because it doesn't give you the damage. You don't have the same damage output. Now, if you start with a Sheen, you can get a lot of damage early game, but it doesn't necessarily translate that well into a late game item because you get so many more perks from something like a Bloodthirster as an AD carry. Triforce, don't get me wrong, it's an okay item. I've built it before on Ezreal, but it's just not my favorite. They're kind of whiffing an Ulton Gragas, but oh man, this AD Gragas, look at the jukes, look at the jukes. We both are, both myself and Runaway, we're chasing after him, but not quite able to find any luck there. But yeah, build, you can go very varied items. Always start with boots and 3 health pots pretty much, unless you're with a super sustained lane like a Soraka. I guess you could go for a BF sword, not a BF sword, a Doran's Blade or something like that. And then from your boots, go in, get your 2 Doran's Blades, a Vamp Scepter if you have enough money, get your boots too, and then start transitioning into either an IE or a Bloodthirster. And of course, if you get your Bloodthirster, focus on getting that farmed up as soon as possible because you're going to be much more useful in that respect if you can get that farmed up all the way. So in terms of strategy, you really just want to kite. And here you can see me, I'm running, kiting when I can, using that red buff. That's why red buff is so powerful on Ezreal, because you can just completely kite them, and here I just stop and finish him off there. But yeah, kited him all the way out into mid lane, took next to no damage with the lifesteal, so just kiting on Ezreal is what makes him so strong, and his escape. That's kind of why he is one of the trinity of ADs. It's why he's one of the most played in ranked games ever. I think he's picked in like 70% of games, something ridiculous like that. So he's definitely played a lot, and for good reason. Corki, Graves, they all have animations with their escape ability. Right, so Graves, when he runs, he dashes out, you can see where he's going. Arcane Shift, it's literally a blink. I mean, it's like Flash. You can't really tell which direction the enemy went unless you just guess correctly. So it's very, very important to have that in AD carry, and that's why he's picked so much. Here, showing another game against a bit more of a normal team composition. You know, they've got the appropriate top lane bruiser in Shyvana. Not a common top lane bruiser, but definitely one that's viable. And here, showing Ezreal's range. His range is so ridiculously good that I was able to poke her down for, you know, a good quarter, 2/3 of her health there, helping out Alistar to secure this kill, and then we're actually able to continue in on Taric. And that's the challenge with Ezreal, is getting to that point where you can land all of your skill shots, where you know that, okay, if I go in on this, I'm going to be able to do this much damage. It's not like, you know, at Graves where you have the AoE kind of cone in front of you. No, you have to be able to land them, and they have a very small window, which is kind of nice. It's kind of refreshing to land those skill shots. It makes you feel pretty good about yourself. You know, a lot of skill shots, it seems like, have such large hitboxes, such long range, that it's kind of easy to hit them. But Ezreal is one of those champions where you really feel pretty skilled when you secure one of those. Here, the exhaust going off on Janna. I guess they really wanted this Janna kill. Taric, he can go crazy in lane. He really can, and not have to worry about it too much. But the thing you have to remember with someone like Ezreal is like that. You have that kind of finisher move, and if you think you can hit it, then it's kind of like Karthus. You can get them within a few inches of their life and then take them out afterwards. So always something to consider, always something to keep striving for. Ezreal is one of those champions you can really better yourself at. Here in this game, also, side note, went for the Bloodthirster first. I was pretty much ahead because of kills, and they're landing one last skill shot. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game. These two games, actually. I had a little bit of extra footage with this commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned a little bit, and I hope you go and try out Ezreal. He's a really, really fun AD carry. This has been Legend Commentaries, and I will talk to you all next time. Love you, and goodbye.